It's time to fulfill a promise and actually do this weekly, or at least try to do it weekly, and that's to upload a video weekly. And I might as well do Can You Bring Modern Weaponry into an Isekai? And this will be part 1. I'm going to be doing this a little slow, and the editing won't be on par because I'm going through a midlife crisis. God, I love being a Gen Zer. Anyways, let's get all that melodrama, whatever, out of the way, and let's talk about bringing modern weaponry into an isekai. The first thing you gotta look at is what is in an isekai, and what is a typical isekai. See, when I think of an isekai has magic, medieval weapons, nobility, monsters, traditional values, or just traditions in general, bad agricultural practices, very little education, different races, kind of like demi-human and human, and skills. Medieval weaponry consists, but is not limited to, swords, shields, spears, bows, horses, daggers, and knives. The horses are cavalry, and cavalry usually has like swords, but horses are still a big part in isekai. And magic is usually fire, light, water, darkness, earth, wind, some type of combination of that, and usually everyday magic. That can also include colorless magic, but it's usually everyday magic. But, just to keep it simple, we're just going to say everyday magic. Even if the isekai has not a lot to do with nobility, you still have to have nobility because it's like ancient or, medieval European times, and nobility was very big back then. You have to have monsters because, most isekais, for the people to make money, they do adventuring and whatnot, and just killing monsters that look evil and powerful, and when the main character defeats them easily, it makes you, the viewer, feel more badass because isekai characters are insert characters, you know what I mean? Traditions and traditional values, that's going to be something major because even though I do say I'm a conservative, I will have to say that if I was going to bring modern weaponry into an isekai, I would have to break a lot of traditions, like knights and whatnot. Like, fuck knights, I want people who have, like, a 45 on their hip. Bad agricultural practices. You see this in a lot of manhwa, but usually what I mean by bad agricultural practices is people don't even know about the crop rotation. Even though I don't know all that much in crop rotation, I do know you have to swap every year or every other year a new freaking crop on a certain plot of land so the soil doesn't get too wasted up. You also gotta bring more nourishment into it, so that's why you have to swap the crops out every so often. I mentioned it a little bit, but what I mean by different races is not of the skin color like us humans nowadays think that what races is. When we're talking about the race of beast folk, demi-humans, dwarves, elves, that type of crap. Basically, you would have to be like a unifying nation and bring these cultures and these races together, because races fighting against each other won't be the best thing. You have dwarves. In most shows, dwarves are the ones that make the powerful weapons, so, you gotta befriend those dwarves, man, if you want to make your modern weaponry. So that's the second part to look at. And we're just basically going to wrap it up as you have to think about all of this when you're being brought into an isekai and you want to bring modern weaponry. You gotta somehow make guns important when it comes to against magic. I mean, you also gotta be having guns that are effective against monsters. Goblins, since they're human, like a 22 9mm, or you gotta be very good with a 22, but like a 9mm or 45. Hell, maybe some if you're talking about rifle rounds, 223, that will definitely kill some goblins. But if you go against a rock stony bastard dragon or whatever the hell you want to call it, you're probably going to need artillery, and not cannon artillery. We're talking about some modern artillery. And the most important part to wrap up is when you're bringing modern ideas to a isekai, you might as well bring them a lot of good agricultural practices, because a lot of soldiers means a lot of food that they need to consume. Also bring rice involved somehow, because everybody loves rice. I love rice. The main characters love rice. If you don't like white rice, you probably like dirty rice or something. But anyways, have a great day or night. And remember, keep on bringing those Isekai Shurikens to me because I want to finally go be whisked off somewhere into an Isekai and bring them modern weaponry.